It's Smith and Burrows choosing the tracks of their years this week. Tom is going first today. His choice is Tracy Chapman.
Yesterday I was talking about being in the car listening to my mum and dad's music, and this is another record which they listen to a lot. And I was thinking about this album. Obviously there's a whole number of amazing songs on this record, but I think it was definitely the first music that I was aware of that had any kind of political or social issues in the words. And I remember being a child and thinking about, these songs about people that are struggling or having their struggles going on in their lives. So it was definitely the first time music was more than just wallpaper or pop music or just, something to get excited by. It made me think for the first time.
How did you get started in music yourself? What inspired you to take up music?
Well, I started playing the trumpet at a very early age. My mum and dad encouraged me to take up an instrument. Both my parents are science teachers, but they both played instruments as well. So mum, she played the flute very well, and dad played the guitar. And dad, when I was a bit older, taught me my first chords. But yeah, I was just kind of encouraged to take up the trumpet, and then played in orchestras and things like that. Then discovered, kind of pop music and, things like Burrows and Michael Jackson when I was, getting cassettes for the first time.
Andy, what about you? I mean, we had you yesterday playing the Ginger Baker part at the age of 11, but what moved you on to different areas of music and doing it in a professional sense?
Similarly to Tom, I actually started on not the trumpet, but the cornet, and I played in brass bands and stuff, and it was a terrible sound I was making. So I swiftly moved to the drum kit. As a cornet player in the band, looking behind me, there was a drummer over there, and he looked like he was having a much better time. So about age 10, I decided to switch from cornet to the drums, and I just spent the next 5 years playing in this brass band, playing drums and percussion and stuff. So yeah, started at the cornet and elevated to a lot noisier drum kits.
But I think it's interesting that both of you had that kind of wider range of music. You didn't just sort of pick up a guitar or whatever and start playing rock. You had that wider range of music, a sort of background, a basis on which to build. And do you think that's affected your songwriting in the years to come?
We have discussed writing a trumpet and cornet duo for our next record, so just watch this space.
Right, can't wait.
The world isn't ready for that, I'm sure.
Right, and your choice today is a Prince track, I Would Die For You. Tell me about that.
I mean, this song is, it's a phenomenal song. That record, Purple Rain, is just incredible. It's hard to choose a song off that album, but this song, I remember etching into the side of my bedside table. I definitely wrote it in with a compass because it was like a late night show. And up to a few years ago, we still had that bedside table, so I went back and looked at the songs that I'd etched on it, and this was one of them. And then many years later, the year I met my wife in Paris whilst we were touring with Razorlight, I heard it in a shop, and it was pre-Shazam, or at least if Shazam existed, I didn't have Shazam. And I couldn't quite remember what it was. It sounded like Prince, and it's an amazing song, but it was kind of giving me goosebumps. And I went back to the same shop that I'd heard it in a few weeks later, and lo and behold, the song was on again. They must have had like a playlist for the shop. And that time I asked, in my best French, the guy behind the counter what it was, and he reminded me it was a Prince song, and I went back and started obsessing over the song, and it reminds me of when I first met her. So it's kind of got like a double memory fondness for me, this song.
I Would Die For You. It's Prince and the Revolution, and chosen by Andy Burrows. The damage that was caused to furnishings through sets of compasses over the years cannot be overstated. Thankfully, they don't seem to bother with them these days. So anyway, that's Andy and Tom choosing tracks of their years. Smith and Burrows back with two more tomorrow.